For the longest time, League of Legends has become a home for competitive gameplay and nothing else. It wasn't always that way, but the well of new game modes ran dry. No more Odyssey, Star Guardians or Dark Star. Twisted Treeline left and so did the Crystal Scar. No more T-Mobile or Hide and Seek. No more 3v3s. These game modes sparked the creativity of the community. And with their departure, a lot of people left, and the longevity of League as a whole came under some jeopardy. Riot noticed that overall playtime dipped after Earth, for example, was featured, and instead of taking that as a sign that people wanted new and novel game modes, they saw it as a threat to their competitive scene. Some background on me. I love League. I've played it frequently, and I've been playing it frequently since Season 2. That's over a decade I've been with League of Legends. I have League figures, books, I have fond school memories of drawing League iconography, like when the Freljord event happened and you had to choose which tribe you supported. Those drawings still hang on my walls. I've supported Riot Forge with releases like Ruin King, Mage Seeker, and soon with Convergence. I've watched all of Arcane, and I love everything lore-based in League. Yet, I sit around Gold in Ranked Rift. Not because I'm not good enough, maybe, who knows. But despite the great world and the endearing characters, I don't care enough to grind League Ranked. And that's not for motivation either. In Valorant, I'm pretty consistent high diamond. There's something about competitive League that just doesn't do it for me. I enjoy playing ARAMs, so I don't have to worry so much about the boring aspects of League, like wave manipulation, farming and macro play. That's why I'm a support main as well. It's fine if you enjoy it, but there is a large player base that has been thoroughly ignored for the longest time. And I think surely that a light has been shone on this community after the utter embarrassment that the aptly named Ruination event it happened. I won't go into it, it's been well documented and it's not for me to talk about. But that was a real kick up the arse for Riot, and I think and I hope they have bounced back from it. From bringing back the Game Modes team, which has been moved to the champion and skin development teams, and the most recent Arena Gamemode, which I'll be talking about in this video. So what is this Arena Gamemode? So 4 teams of 2 fight in a series of 2v2 battles. Losing a battle means that your team loses HP, and winning gets you a bit of extra gold. You get augments like in TFT, which give you unique and random buffs, which really change the way you play the game. I've played a lot of Arena, and I honestly want to thank Riot for its inclusion, because the return of game modes means so much to me as a fan of the League universe. So what I'm going to do now, with some of my best gameplay from my Arena foray, I'm going to review the Arena game mode. So you get into Arena, queue up with a solo or a duo, get into champ select, you ban a champion, you pick a champion, and then you get into a sort of hub area where you buy an item, a starter item, and you go into your first fight. That fight plays out, you lose some health, you gain some gold, one of the two. And then you come back and you choose an augment, a random augment. Might be good, might not be too good. You get 2 rerolls of augment, so it's not too random. And you keep going, play a game, buy an item, play a game, get an augment, until each team, or the last team, has lost its HP and is out. And then you get a certain amount of points for getting first, second, and then you lose points for getting 3rd or 4th. And that's it, that's the game mode. There are 4 different maps with different layouts, but they're all like circular, and they have these flowers which act as the objectives, and they are very strong because they give cooldown reduction, they give resources like mana, health, and they give shields. And they have 3 HP, or like 3 hits, and you get health with each hit of the flower. Some people think these are very strong. I know that they're very strong, but it's not a problem, because that is the objective of the map. That's why people are encouraged to like approach, so they can gain map prior. Other than that, there may be like random events that spawn. Like Set, he might show up, and if you defeat Set, he fires off his Vault Breaker thing towards the enemy team. Or Pike might dash towards the furthest away enemy champion and stun them. The augments are ranked differently. There's like the silver, gold, and like mythic, like rainbow augments, which really change everything. It really feels like they put in a lot of effort and creativity into finding new ways to change the formula. You have no runes, you have no choice of summoner spells. You have the summoner spells Flash, because you can't have League without Flash now, can you? And you have a new summoner spell which is Flee, which is basically Ghost, but only when you're running away from enemies, which sort of gives the squishier champions a bit of a chance against the inevitable tanks and bruisers that will just come barreling towards them. So yeah, that is the basics. I'm gonna go into like the pros and cons now, like the things I like and things I dislike. So the pros are that they really captured the game feel and the quick pace of these games. They're only about 20 minutes long, a bit shorter if you're bad, but you know, I've never really experienced that. It eliminates, as I said, the annoying bits of League, the farming, the macro plays, and map priority. The augment system is really cool because you can get some ridiculous stuff. I've been playing a lot of Kennen and just getting some like ultimate augments for him. Like the first game I played on Kennen, I got double ultimates and invincible ultimates. So I just press R, go invincible for a bit, and then I just press R again and just wipe a team. So that augment system really feeds into this idea of making unique builds, which has been frowned on for the longest time in League, because you can't do anything off meta, because people, even in casual games, people get angry at you, and it feels like it's really encouraged in this game mode. And more than any other game mode, it feels like anything can be successful. Like whatever pick that you go for, as long as you fought it out a bit, you know, it feels like even like off meta stuff is viable, and even, yeah, again, encouraged. And the last pro that I've found is that it's a lot less toxic. Now don't get me wrong, there's always going to be the one guy who doesn't really click with you and just starts missing pinging you and bait pinging you, whatever. But have you ever thought that Rift, like Summoner's Rift, does not encourage teamwork at all? Every lane is their own little world, so when anything goes wrong, there's always someone to blame. And boy will they be blamed, because it's it's not really 40 minutes anymore, but 30-40 minute game, and you're not going to have your time wasted by somebody who's incompetent. Now in Arena, you have one guy to focus on, and you have to make it work. And that actually works wonders for teamwork. I've had a bunch of people that I've just met for the first time, and we're just shooting the shit, making jokes, and really enjoying ourselves, and that doesn't really happen in Rift. In Rift, you have this expectation that you know what your teammate is going to do, what sort of build they're going to go for, what objectives they want, but the augment system makes it so you have to communicate. If your teammate has a castle summon spell which swaps your position with your teammate, you have to tell them. You can't just spring that on them in the middle of a fight. The arena system really encourages communication of what build the other teammate is going for. The maps are pretty balanced. You can tell that they've been designed for different things in mind, like the sort of Ionian flower map is very circular. There's a bunch of like kiting paths that's better for like ranged champions. The igneous rock sort of volcanic map has bushes at the bottom, and it's a lot harder to get on that map. There is a slight problem with them being ones like spawn favored. Like you spawn on the ice map, for example. You spawn on the left side and you have access to 2 plants, which sort of forces the other team to be aggressive, which might not be, you know, in their best interest. But in all, I'm very happy with the maps for their, you know, their balance and their unique gameplay challenges that each one presents. But onto the cons. And there aren't too many cons, but there are some serious ones. The biggest one is that even though it feels like anything can be successful, not all equals are made equal. There is going to be the meta picks, and you know, there's going to be the 4v2 build, Annie and Ivan. They just bring out Daisy and Tibbers, and you're 4v2 and you're sort of fucked. You have the minion build with like Heimer and Zyra, which is just insufferable to face. You have the team that plays the zone. I haven't mentioned the zone. Time to explain the zone. After some time in a 2v2, a fire field will sort of spawn around the arena, which will shrink. It's like a battle royale, and you burn to death when you're outside of the zone. So, zone play. Alistair and Poppy will just wait for the timer to go out because they're insanely tanky, and their mission is to just push you out of the zone with Alistair headbutt and Poppy ult, and it just isn't interactive at all, and it's not fun. Speaking of not fun, you have the stealth trap cancer build with Shaco and Timo, because they just hide boxes and shrooms everywhere and no one has fun. I'm 99% sure that the Timo and Shaco players are sociopaths if they're having fun doing that. This leads into the like big problem, I think, which is pick ban. You get 1 ban in this game mode. So as a team, if you're coordinating well, you can get rid of half of any of these builds or one of these builds entirely. And there is only 8 bans total, which is not enough. I've always been an advocate for this. For the love of God, Riot, please increase the number of bans. It will lead to people playing more things, which is more fun for everybody. Figuring out one good thing and then just sticking to it it's not fun. You see, during the ban phase, everybody can see what everybody else is hovering, and everybody can see what everybody else is banned. So the ban phase becomes this game of chicken, basically, where you're waiting till the last possible second to lock in your ban to see what everybody else is going to ban, because everybody is so deathly afraid of the Shakos and the Timos and the Kales and the Jaxes and the Annies and the Ivans. It's not a healthy system. Heck, once I saw in the ban phase, this duo was hovering the bans of Shaco and Teemo, and they held the bans until the last second when they switched, because they knew that they were hovering Shaco and Teemo, but no one else would ban them. They decided to hover the ban so they wouldn't get banned by anybody else, because they thought, oh, those guys are going to ban them. Then they switched off their ban last second and picked Shaco and Teemo because they weren't banned. It's a horrible metagame in the metagame to get the meta picks. Everybody is just waiting for somebody else to ban something that they want to ban so they can ban the other thing that they want to ban, because everybody wants to have 6 bans in this game mode, because otherwise all the meta picks are just reigning supreme, and they are. I've seen that in higher ranks of Arena, people just play the meta stuff. Given the option, a player will optimize the fun out of a game. It's the role of the designer to stop that from happening, to give the player a more fun alternative than the first order optimal strategy. Because everybody wants to win, and winning is fun, but not if it comes at the price of enjoying the game mode, in my opinion. The other issue that I see with this is guaranteed late game. You can't shut down a late game champion if they're guaranteed to get to late game, because a team isn't going to lose until they get like a few items. So a Kayle or a Samira or a Kassadin, they're just going to get strong. There's nothing you can actually do to stop them. Like, these characters are kept in check in Summoner's Rift or even like in Howling Abyss by the ability of the other team to shut them down quickly and early. And we lose that option, so they just become a problem. There's nothing you can do about it. Another con is losing an augment pick. There are different tiers of augments: silver, gold and rainbow. And if you get a bad roll, if you keep getting silver augments, or everybody gets the same tier of augment, but if you can't really benefit off any of the silver augments that you get, then there's no point in re-rolling them because the silver augments are bad. You can lose an augment pick. It's possible. And that level of RNG I've never appreciated in games. It's why I don't play TFT at all, because that just seems like RNG the game mode, and I don't appreciate it. The other thing, the other RNG thing is map pick. Sometimes you just get the wrong map, and on one hand that's fair. On the other hand, you might, for example, get played into a fighter that spawns, like Samira. When Samira spawns on your map, she attacks whenever you deal CC to an opponent, and she attacks that opponent. So here I am with like an Ezreal Corki, and then we get put into a arena with Nautilus Morgana, and Samira spawns as well. That goes from a fair fight to obviously Morgana Nautilus favored by virtue of unlucky. Sort of things like that which can be annoying, especially if that was in the finals, like the last game, and then you just like, oh, okay, we've lost then. So the RNG on the maps and the fighters and the augments, I can give those a pass because that's part of the game mode, and taking them out would definitely remove something. Maybe some tweaks, maybe some like forewarning that you're gonna get these champions in your arena or something. But definitely pick ban and the meta needs to be overhauled completely. I have been always an advocate of adding more bans. There's what, 100 and something 50 characters, and we're allowed to take out 8 of them. Is that an utter fucking joke? 2 or 3 even bans I would be okay with. And yeah, people get, you know, they have to play new champions, but I say that people having fun and not having to run into these boring meta gameplay is just so much more valuable. Who's having fun playing Singed, running around, doing nothing but flipping people into the zone? It's those aforementioned sociopaths, but yeah. I've heard some people suggest, and I think Wild Rift did this, that you pick 3 champions and you sort of rotate between them. That might help, but I feel like that will just lead to the same problems of people picking 3 meta champions, and then the people that, you know, don't play the meta champions, they're just stuck with the same problem. But oh, instead of an Annie and Ivern, you get stuck with a Timer and Zyra at the same time. So I feel like taking out more of these problem champions is just the way forward. But yeah, overall, I am so thankful that Riot have made this game mode, because it's breathed actual life into the game for me. So I can actually, especially with the Tournament of Souls, like client game, it feels like I can log in and, you know, look forward to something. And I do hope they keep it and they keep developing for it, because I think it was said that if it was popular enough and people make content on it and everything, then, you know, they'd keep it around for a permanent game mode. I hope that happens, and consider this my bit for making sure that that is achieved. But let me know what you guys think about the Arena Gamemode. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.